I have Excel things that we can talk about, and maybe we will. Maybe at
Okay.
the end of this session, people will
Okay.
look back and say, "Boy, that is all they did do." But I am itching to turn to. I mean, I was about to say the firm's name, but I'm sure you don't want me to do that.
Oh, dude, you're gotcha journalism.
I mean, I'm not trying to.
Journalism. I don't know how to make it into a verb, dude. This is gotcha journalism.
No.
Gotcha podcasting? Well, it depends on where you want to go, dude. I was about to say I'm an open book, but I'm not, dude. I'm a
I mean, you won't let me
cagey-ass
say
book, dude.
the name of the firm.
Definitely not, dude. I think it's good to just keep it mysterious. I just say my first employer and my second employer. I've only had two,
Yeah.
like as an adult. You know, my first one
What
was
about
a
the
big
summer
firm.
camp?
Yeah, like those don't count. I'm not counting
I know.
those. Yeah.
I don't count my
dude.
summer. As the Black Eyed Peas is a big factor in
Well, dude,
anything.
hold on. What are you referring to?
I worked at the chain restaurant, the Black Eyed Pea, as a waiter for one summer.
Because the summer I was a camp counselor was the summer the Black Eyed Peas like were popping hard, or a summer when they were. Because I remember like in a completely
I'm glad
different.
we seem to have cycled through.
Well, I think Will I Am is still popping. Fergie's still up to something. I definitely remember Taboo.
I'm sure they'll make music, but I don't feel like I'm going to have to. I feel like it'll be my choice whether or not I have to hear it.
I think you'll like surprise yourself if you pulled up Will I Am production discography. You probably like songs that are produced by Will I Am that you didn't know.
I mean, I would not say he's
Will.i.am.
without talent.
He is talented.
I think
Fergie
talented.
is too. The other two, I'm not completely sold
But
on. I don't know what they even did.
I had enough.
I remember Taboo, the guy with very long hair, like around a 2013 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He wrote a book that coincided, I think, with one of their performances. That's why I remember his name. I think it's
didn't know
Taboo.
Yeah, their Super Bowl was here. I was kind of bummed
Oh,
out
it
by
was.
that.
Okay. All right.
I feel like Dallas deserved better.
I mean, I don't know. So the only song I know is what I was about to say. I was at the camp and I remember being like, yo, even
We can't play this.
I was like, I know it's 2005, but you have to change this to Let's Get It Started. Like, you know, I was like, what are they doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, that was questionable before I went to Excel. Like, I mean, that was also the summer, I think, actually, full disclosure though, when I've said it since, I don't think it's a nice thing. Once you know it hurts people's feelings, it better be pretty important if you're like, I don't care about that. Especially when it's people that you're referring to with the R slur.
Obviously, everything you're saying is correct. It is. I mean, I would assume it appears like this is everyone's experience that anytime, not everyone, but clearly there's a large mass of people who, if you tell them you cannot talk the way that they talked as like a teenager,
Right.
they don't like it.
Right.
And that's me.
Yeah. I mean, it goes both
I get
ways,
it. Of course, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And like, I do all kinds of things in the course of my language to try and be welcoming towards other people.
Yeah.
And I think that is worthwhile work.
Yeah,
But I don't
definitely.
like that I can't say all the words that people called me on the fucking school bus.
I think there's like a lot of levels to it. I fully agree, or I know what you're talking about, because it's stressful to have to think about a new way of communicating. Communicating's hard. We've both talked ad nauseum about how important it is to be understood. But part of that is like you're never going to be understood if the word that you use sets off your interlocutor into like their own fight or flight reaction, which can
course,
happen.
yeah.
And I'm not insensitive to that. But then it's like, I mean, I've been called the R word, but it's not sensitive to me like that. But I do
The thing
want to
that's
talk
frustrating
about,
to me is that those words did have specific meanings. Like, and I by that I don't mean like the literal dictionary definition of the slur.
Right.
I mean like within the within the understood language of the people riding school bus 55, like
Right,
that word
right.
served a specific purpose. Any of those words that we're not allowed to say served a
Right.
specific purpose.
Right.
And like
The language evolved.
I do not find other words that I feel serve it better. I have not found replacements
That's a struggle, dude.
that I like better. And to be honest, the way that other races have used racial slurs to carve out clear meanings that do not have analogs in non-racial slur words is frustrating to me. I feel like English. This is
Wait,
a
what
new
do you
crusade
mean?
I'm taking up. You know, I'm not going to explain it better than that, Alex.
I had to try. Like, I don't actually fully follow, but I don't mean to press you on a sensitive subject.
I mean, it's probably not advisable for me to say what I said, so I'm not going to say it in greater detail.
Okay.
But
well, I'm an Italian protected class dude, according to Apple Incorporated. I know you and I have talked about this. Have we talked about it on the podcast?
No, but give me 2 seconds, then let's get to it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, tread lightly, dude. Tread if you're going to talk about.
No, but it's my opinion. This is a soapbox I'm beginning right now to climb onto. It's been a couple weeks
so
now.
Glad to be here for
it. I mean, I've brought it up on IJB a little bit. I don't feel like we have enough words. I feel like English is clearly an underworded language.
That's a bizarre notion. I think we have more than most languages because we can fully incorporate like German and Latin. Right?
But here you go. Surely we have like many, many, many more words than like the ancient Greeks. But the word to concept ratio has gotten out of whack over time. Yeah, we have to deal with more concepts than the ancient Greeks did. Our lives are more complex.
Poetry is for,
the number of fucking things, that like, undergrid our everyday existence is so much more vast.
Yeah, dude, we're still confused about what color they thought the ocean was because they like didn't have enough words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that they had a lot of like. I'm just saying, like, instances where, the Eskimos having 100 words for snow, or that kind of stuff.
Heard that concept.
Like, we don't have enough, like, there's just a lot of words where the most prominent one that comes up in everyday conversation is the word racist.
The word racist.
We have a lot of behaviors that we apply the word racist to, and then universally the people
subtypes of racism.
Obviously, I mean, we just need
we have them.
Well, I don't think that we do.
There's like implicit bias,
but
no,
like, dude. Whatever you say to someone, because it is constantly hurled. You're a racist. You're being a racist. That's racist shit.
This is online only. I've lived my entire life never being called.
Why are you forcing me to make it? This is ableist.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. I'm just saying, like, you can live your life free of these accusations.
I don't have to deal with the accusations.
Although, do you ever get them online? I once got a random girl. Like, this is like 3 Twitter accounts ago, so it's not like associated with me now. But I like said a random thing, like randomly. Like, it had.
Can you say what it was?
No, because I can't remember. But it wasn't offensive.
Yeah,
and it didn't relate to race. But I think I may have revealed my identity, not as an Italian American, obviously, or I assume I would have gotten some sympathy.
Obviously.
Thank you. But just like she intuited that I was like, a white guy, and just like immediately flipped and was just like, oh, should have figured, you would be throwing all this racist ass shit, and like, but went off for like 8 tweets. So I think it was like a person who was not well, probably. So it was good exposure therapy for me because I was so far. I'm sure I was, my implicit biases, as always, were governing parts of even my response, maybe the way I'm telling the story now. But it was really like a story of, it might as well have been about like the Mavericks or something like that.
Yeah.
Not national anthem division. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Anyway, at
a
first
mundane basketball story.
Yeah.
Perhaps an opinion about their trade for JJ Redick.
Yeah, something. But even then, it's like him being a white dude playing basketball. It's like that's too inflected
you're right.
for how far away this was.
Yeah.
This is like, do you prefer hydrangeas or daffodils or something? Like, I mean, it wasn't that, but you know what I mean? But it was still jarring at first to be like, this lady thinks I'm racist. Like, I felt in my heart.
I don't want to delve into them at all. Mother always told me I already did this, but I mean, whatever. I often think of the line. My mother always told me, don't argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who is who. Yeah. So I will not argue with them, but I will say that the people have like accused me of racism.
Yeah.
I found it unpleasant and ungrounded.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I do certainly acknowledge that the human brain has some tribal tendencies.
Of course.
And I have found comfort. I feel like all of us, and I see this behavior in a lot of people, like that clearly the like well protected groups we all know like not to do, and like with good reason,
Right.
which is why I have always enjoyed Italians' presence in the world. I feel like I am allowed to say things about Italians for the most part that I would not be able to otherwise say, and it serves me well.
Yeah, I do feel. I wonder if, like, I was gonna say, it's basically like Batman at the end of the Dark Knight, just being like, "We'll do it. We can take it, dude." You know what I mean? But I wonder if it's
pilot on me.
Exactly.
No,
dude.
yeah, no, just
from
living a
Harvey
month.
Dent
By
to
the
the
end
world.
of living 4 months, like pressed up close against them,
Yeah.
I
I wouldn't wish that on
I was
anyone,
done.
dude. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair, dude.
I lived in Italy for 4 months. That's what I'm saying.
No,
wanna
yeah.
I know you know that.
We've talked about that on the pod, right?
I think we've mentioned it, but
I think
just
we should talk about it as much as you want.
the fact that you said something for 2 seconds, 10 episodes ago, you shouldn't have an automatic assumption that that's locked into everyone.
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely, dude. You should talk. Let's talk about it more.
No, I want to talk about you getting fired from the law firm.
I'm not prepared for it, dude.
Okay, well then we don't have to.
Well, I see. It's tough, dude. I don't know.
I mean, maybe you don't have to tell the whole thing right now. You can, lay out a little bit.
I will say, dude, it's
Or
unclear.
you don't have to talk about it at all. I have other Excel topics we can get to.
No, I can say something. I will say this, dude. Now I have to say, and this is part of the reason why I try. First of all, I'm starting sentences over. I'm interrupting myself. I think because my ideas are still kind of disjointed. I have a lot of beta elements floating around, and I have to convert them to alpha elements, or the other way around. I can't remember.
I don't know what that means.
That's in the metaphor in the ADHD book that I keep talking about. He basically is like, if you're on the ADHD, list of these traits, basically like everyone's inundated with stimuli, but like it's too much for you at times, and that's why you resort to like hyper focus combined with inattention to like everything else, which is really difficult to manage your life that way, blah, blah, blah. But he's basically like, you need time. I always get it confused because I'm like, dude, when they're not processed, they should be beta, dude. You should be turning them into alphas so you could be like an alpha.
I mean, that's your toxic masculinity.
I agree.
Speaking,
Yeah.
You obviously need to tame that.
I will flip it in my own
Shadow work is required.
I don't
know what that means. I just hear you say it a lot.
It is, dude, for me, because I am an alpha, dude. So obviously my shadow is a little bit beta. So, but I don't want to sign on to a system where I'm like, I have to beta-tize my life, dude. You know what I mean?
Maybe just make up a different word. You get hung up on these words, dude.
I do, dude. Well,
words are not important. Concepts are important.
I agree, and that's why I'm saying I'll get loosey with it. But definitely, I'm saying my job stuff is still whatever. It's unprocessed because I started like writing it out, and I had like a little outline, but then I was like, I mean, there's so much of it is about like vibes and nuance, like like.
But what's a better?
Takes time to like build it up, so I almost feel like it's in some ways like anecdote at a time puts together a piece versus like here's the first thing that happened, because it's like not always
I
clear
agree.
what the
That's
first
why
thing,
I'm kind of saying like let's start the anecdotes, but I'm just saying I'm not insisting on it
because the first thing
it's your
that happened,
comfort level.
dude, was Eve ate the apple. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
It's like you can trace back so many potential causes here.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like also, I don't want to insult people. It's such an insult to be like, and in some ways, I think I chose that place because I needed to revisit the trauma of Excel. It's like I've just offended a lot of people if I were to say that. But in some ways, I do think, how could that not be true with these two large events and decisions in my life? But then it gets like, do I really, as much as it would be satisfying to, say some things that I could, I have to be smart about it. And that is the thing I have to say. So even saying I got fired is like a little bit, I have to say that it's my opinion, dude. At least, and it's not my professional opinion because no one has paid me for the opinion. But as someone who used to accept payment for giving expert advice regarding these kinds of disputes, I definitely, in my opinion, was fired. But I believe the verb or the phrase that was used, like Miss Nancy would have a fun time diagramming the sentence that ended my relationship with my last employer. Because I think the person who delivered the message told me, I wasn't there, so this is just what somebody said. It definitely could be true. That the message bearer was not at the meeting of decision makers who decided to end the relationship. I think, and then there's like a bracket between you and the firm. You know, that's the relationship that was being discussed. But I don't even know if the prepositional phrase like got in there.
I don't understand what you're saying.
It was like, not like you're fired. It was like, hey, we've talked, or they've talked, and they want me to let you know that in light of everything that's going on, we're going to go ahead and end the relationship. So you would think, okay, I just got fired, right? But then
I would.
I do.
We're ending. That'd be
it's a unilaterally communicated decision, not a negotiation, not even really. I mean, the timetable became
it's
an
a sentence
issue.
that's communicating a decision that has been made.
Right. And I used to advise businesses on that, and I had a 1-page form where I would give, if you could sense, like being what I call like an HR lawyer, a lot of it is being like a super HR person. Like when the HR people need like a little bit of a booster. So, and a lot of times you're like the voice of God as far as they're concerned, because you're telling them what the law is, and they like live in fear of it, and they never know what it is because it is very ambiguous. So a lot of times you can even tell them it's ambiguous, but tell them what to do. And then they feel good because it's basically like, well, the priest told me, dude, I just need to say the 10 Hail Marys and then I'll just plow the field tomorrow.
I've tried to incorporate that in, like, that's a concept that I have in my life been butting up against, where like I understand the like range of grays here, but I think that this person will like enjoy, like have a better time, and B, like it'll work out for me if I'm just like, the absolute truth is this.
Yeah.
Like just giving them something clear they can work with.
But you see, in employment law, you can't tell them that because...
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. But like
you'll look like an idiot. You'll
working
be wrong
within
too
the
much.
Constraints.
Well, that's
no,
what
I
you
don't
have
say
to,
stuff that's like wrong.
You have to like, no, I agree. It's like you have to, in that scenario, or if you're like managing
do you want a
people
20-minute
at job,
symposium on the various considerations, or do you want me to tell you my opinion?
A lot of times you're actually being bad at your job if you give them the 20 minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
You're making them feel less certain.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what I would do is just be like, look, I would say basically what you said. I'd be like, look, I could happily talk to you for the next 2 hours about this. I've thought about it for 2 hours, and I'm going to bill you for that. But let's just talk for 10 minutes and then tell me what questions you have. You know what I mean? That's what people want almost all of the time. There's some really bright clients, a lot of times who were lawyers who went into, in-house in companies who will be like, no. What regulation are you talking about? And you hear them like typing, like they're Googling it and they're going to read it with you. And what about you? I am prepared for those discussions. So I find those to be like more rewarding. But most like HR people, they don't care that it's ambiguous, and they don't care even if you send them an email kind of covering yourself saying, as we discussed, it is ambiguous, as long as you say, in light of that, here's what I would do, or what I would recommend that you consider these in order of administrative feasibility or whatever the fuck. As long as they know, even if it goes wrong, I can point to my boss and say the lawyer told me to. Even if then the lawyer gets to say, I didn't really tell you to, I said it's ambiguous and, blah, blah, blah. It's like no one ever has to take responsibility if the group plans it out the right way. It's like nobody starts a meeting being like, how do we avoid responsibility? It's just everyone follows their individual incentives, which is never going to be like, I want more responsibility for a decision that could go south and people are mad about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to like think all this through, and like older lawyers and HR people kind of helped me realize these are much more like nuanced things than just what the law is. And that makes you better at your job. But the only reason I bring that up is to say, I eventually had a 1-page memo where I would just take 10 minutes to change whatever facts, demanded. But it was basically like the top 10 things you should do if you're about to fire somebody. And the first one, maybe the second, but very early, is like, never forget you are communicating a decision that has already been made. You are not negotiating, and you really don't even have to explain yourself. Like, you hear it, but then as like a lawyer, which frankly your job is to help the company avoid liability, I would say you should give an explanation, because you're gonna look like a liar if you don't. And if you have no reason, people are gonna assume, no one's ever gonna be like, it's probably because I wasn't that good at my job and I suck and they made a mistake by hiring me and it's about time they fixed it. I knew this had to happen. I guess I'll find a job I'm better suited for. You know what I mean?
Some people probably have that.
Yeah, no,
It's
I'm
rare.
sure, dude.
It's rare,
but most people are like, yeah, dude, it's because I'm old, or like, it's because I'm a fucking dude, or I'm saying the things that apply to me because I don't want to, cast aspersions on categories I'm not in.
not even 40.
I know, but I'm getting there, dude. I turned 38 for real, all jokes aside, this summer.
You will turn 38?
Yeah, dude.
So you're not even 38 now.
I'm 37.
And I'm supposed to be taking this seriously. You
Dude,
got 2 full
38
years
means you're
before you're even on the edge of like middle age.
Dude, I was, I'm reading Millennium Trilogy,
Yeah.
The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. So I'm almost done. I'm in the 3rd book now. And there's a character, a woman, who I think he's like describing her as like being hot, but she's like thinking to herself about how she looks. And she's like, well, and now at 30 plus. And then she's like, wait, actually, probably more accurate to describe it as 40 minus, And I was like, ugh. I never thought of it that way.
Whatever,
so I was
dude.
like, I'm definitely closer to 40 than 30. Like, ridiculously closer.
Some people seem to have fun in their 40s. It's not that big a
I'm
deal.
hoping to. I mean, I'm having fun now.
Yeah.
I'm having more fun than I was 10 years ago.
We try and talk directly and
Oh, my
like
bad.
just move it a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit so that it's more angled towards you.
Thank you. Sorry.
So, I mean, is it bad before? Probably not. Not that
it
big
can
a deal.
always be better.
But yeah, I bet that's considerably better.
Thank you. Anyway.
Yeah, just as far as like my like there's a million reasons I want to tell or hear the story.
Yeah.
You participate, like this is your deal and it's a story you want to tell. It's like that's the first one. I don't need anything past that. But like I think that it's important because as you've told it to me, like the bits and pieces that I've heard, it definitely has parallels to the Excel experience. And I think for us to kind of have a complete project here, it's like, here's everything that happened. We've done, a good job and we'll continue to do a job of laying that out. But then it's like, okay.
Right.
And what did that, like, what's the end of the movie?
Sure.
And-
No, that makes sense, dude.
Yeah, and so to be like, here's all these things that happened to me. They created in me responses
Right.
that then manifested itself this way. I think
Yeah.
that that's a complete tale in a way that just being like, hey, we went to this drug school wouldn't really be.
Oh, no, I fully agree, dude. I like it, dude. I agree that it's the same story, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of it, it's just delicate to tell because it's the same thing we've said throughout this podcast about people that went to Excel. It doesn't just involve me, and it presents a potential for a situation where even the people who I consider to have harmed me and to have, in my opinion, potentially should consider the possibility that they were not their best selves when this whole process was going on, that they weren't really doing themselves proud. And that was true of my own conduct in other regards. And that's what, we joked earlier. There were many reasons to want to end the relationship, so to speak. So one of the issues is like Dude, I really should have brought in my old reviews. I can still do that at some point. But
I would like to.
Yeah.
But before you move on entirely from that, I want to respond to the thing you just said real quick.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure I tied the knot on what I just was about to say, so
okay.
It's good that we're getting back to it because it felt important. I want to hear what you were saying.
But just same thing that you've said in similar, just to repeat your points back to you, like, you telling stories about that do involve other people. I feel confident that those stories have been told about you without you there.
Fully agree, dude. Yeah. Lies have been told about me. I will say that, dude, because I know that.
Yeah.
Because I had to fucking be in an elevator with somebody who I respect and who I don't ever want. I'm like, I don't know if I'm as autistic as you are because I had to live in nuanced spaces a lot. Like, about saying things that are not, I don't want to say I'm comfortable telling lies, dude. I'm not. That's my exact point. But I feel like you really bend over backwards to correct any possible misperception always. Where sometimes I see...
Yeah, it's in my nature.
Yeah, I know that. I have that about me. But I also have gotten to points where with certain people, I'm very comfortable letting them labor under what appeared to me to be misapprehensions. Like, it's fine.
I never even make a calculation of whether or not I like the misapprehension. It's just... Ooh, that's a misapprehension. We got to clean that up.
Yeah, I know that impulse. I'm now, because I've like sometimes annoyed people with it, and other times like I've regretted the energy expenditure at convincing someone they're wrong. And like the third point, this is Dale Carnegie, is like, even when you win, you lose. Like in some ways. But that's not to say I don't get it, because I do get it, dude. That's why I've had to like remember all these helpful sayings. But my point is, I ran into a guy that was like, yeah, I heard you decided to, resign and be a consultant, basically. And because of the nature of my relationship with him and his relationship with the people from whom he heard that, I did not correct him. And that was when I decided I have to tell my version of my story, because I'm now in a position where, because of the bullshit story, I have to like live in a world where I may get blindsided by, again, mutual acquaintances where, because they've told their story first and it's so far from the truth that I don't feel truthful even being silent when someone just says, I heard you wanted to resign to be a consultant. I'm like, you would definitely... If we, in litigation, sometimes you have to agree on facts. The judge will be like, give me numbered paragraphs of every fact you agree on, and then every one you disagree on, so I know what to actually pay attention to.
That's useful.
It's so useful,
dude.
That's
good.
It's really, as someone like, I think we have similar frustrations, I think, in arguments with regular people. I think you would really enjoy the orderly procession of arguing in court, where it's like, what are the disputed facts? What are the undisputed facts? Yeah, I think you really would.
I mean, like, it really bothers me that the fact that regular humans walk around being like, this isn't court. I'm like, but if you approach it with the seriousness,
doesn't mean we can't approach it like it is.
it would be beneficial to everyone.
Yeah. So, and it's how I think too. So that's why it's hard for me to be fully hyperbolic about this and just be like, the people who fired me did it because they're the spawn of Satan. I'm an innocent, angelic victim that has never done anything wrong. And I should probably start a GoFundMe because, like, I was done that dirty. It's that obvious. This is like, no. This is a bunch of asshole, like, corporate management lawyers who, like, the Vipers, like, turned on themselves, basically. And I'm comfortable with that. But I still feel like, if that's true, I'm still a Viper. So don't expect me, like, not to fucking talk about it on my podcast. But there are people involved whose feelings could get hurt, or like who could end up being embarrassed about some of the conduct that I didn't agree with, that didn't have anything to do with the decision makers. And so again, it's just because this is the book I'm reading. I cannot emphasize enough, with the example I'm about to use, it's just because it's a book I'm reading. The reason I got fired has zero resemblance to the girl with dragon tattoo, except, I do consider myself kind of a Lisbeth Salander mentally, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But with like a Daniel Craig kind of vibe, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like...
stay humble.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm mostly joking, except to say I'm not saying that anyone committed like a sexual assault or anything like that. I feel like in the era of Me Too, you have to say that when you were comparing your termination to like the central sexual assault in The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. But that's the book I happen to be reading. But I cannot overemphasize it enough. To my knowledge, nobody, I don't want to say that, but you know what I mean? Like it just has very little to do with it. But it's now been 10 years. I'm comfortable spoiling The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. The main character, Lisbeth, the girl with the fucking dragon tattoo, the titular character, is sexually assaulted in the first book.
Yes.
And it becomes like a plot point. And then in the later books, the fact that she was assaulted is potentially exculpatory in, you know, the controversies that have continued to surround her as the plot develops. So Daniel Craig knows that. He knows all this, but he can't get in touch with her to get her permission to be like, y'all, the reason none of this makes sense is because this dude, the reason, like, you know, full spoiler alert, the guy who raped her does end up getting killed, you know? Again, I'm so sorry, but you had decades to read this book.
I'm okay with it.
No, I know you are. I mean, more any listener. I do respect spoiler.
My dad read them.
I think they're great, dude. I am loving them.
I'm inclined to say they're probably good.
I want to watch the like full trilogy.
The Swedish ones?
Yeah. But I read did. What do you think?
I don't remember.
Okay.
He had an opinion. It was kind of strong, but
I love
recollection.
The first movie is one of my faves, like all time.
The Swedish one or
the Fincher?
Okay, yeah. No, I think it's very
so
good.
So fucking good, dude.
And I really, walking out of the theater, felt like an agreement had been made that they were going to give me all three.
Oh, if you watch the special features, they're proceeding as if like they are.
Fucked up.
Yeah, it is definitely fucked up.
Terrible.
They moved a few things from the second book into the movie. I like reading it. I was like, oh, they moved that up.
Yeah, I remember my dad saying that at the time.
The guy who wrote the script is the dog, dude. I think it's pronounced Zalen, Steve Zalen. He's like, he writes, like, I only knew who he was within like the last year, but he wrote The Irishman, like The Girl Dragon Tattoo, and The Departed. So he's like the king of the adapted screenplay, dude. Because I was.
Oh yeah, I always forget that The Departed is. It's like a Hong Kong.
Yeah. And it's like he does take liberties. Like,
you ever watch that?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tight, dude.
I'd like to go watch it.
I have it on Blu-ray.
The Hong Kong one?
Yeah. It's good.
All right. Let's do it.
There's like definitely. It's like 90 minutes and it's like way more like Hong Kong, you know, stuff. But some scenes are like directly lifted. But, you know, obviously.
I mean, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. Yeah. But that's Zalen, dude. That's what I'm saying.
It's a frustrating experience. Dude. The show that I worked on, the radio show, would regularly reference it as like clearly Scorsese's not what he used to be. That's always so frustrating with me.
God, that's funny, man.
Like, and the guy doing it most of the time is like a uniquely obsessed with Goodfellas kind of person. Like,
interesting.
Like just, you know, I think that most people, I don't think yours is Starsky and Hutch, but you were talking about Starsky and Hutch in a similar situation
I love Starsky
earlier.
And
Hutch. Just like the friend or the movie that your friends like tend to put on when you're having good times when you're in your 20s.
Is Goodfellas for this dude?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Starsky and Hutch. None of my friend group. I mean,
I'm talking about Dan. You've met him. I'm talking about Dan.
Oh, Ticket Dan.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What movie?
He watched Goodfellas over and over as a 20-year-old. You know, in his 20s.
Yeah.
No, it shaped him into being a cool guy. He's a very cool guy
for sure, dude.
However, it has blinded him to the relative quality between Goodfellas and The Departed.
Yeah, dude. I would say don't let that's nostalgia tinted glasses to me.
The Departed is not only not a step back; it is clearly a much better movie.
I agree, dude. Yeah, I do. I like Goodfellas a lot. I have my own nostalgia for it.
I do too.
Yeah, as an adolescent in New Jersey, it was. I went through multiple video cassettes, like because video, you know, they don't last as long.
Your parents were letting you watch that?
When I got older, that's funny. I was talking to somebody about this like yesterday. It was revolutionary, dude. So for a while it was lockdown. Like I couldn't watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I would watch stuff at like sleepovers, and I was always
happens.
interested in movies, so I
Sure.
would like dig it out. We would go on vacation. The channels that weren't blocked at home would be on, and I would just be like sneaking out at night to like. I wanted to watch Kids so bad. I remember like when that came out.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I still haven't seen it. I feel like maybe I missed my.
It's an experience.
I'm sure. I mean, I know about it.
I had like heard about it a ton, like, but never people like explaining the plot. Like I had no idea what it was about. I
Really?
just would hear about, like that guy from Kids, like people saying stuff like that all the time.
Interesting.
And then it was a party. Like it was a party whenever I was in my young 20s, and it was like kind of a party, but everyone, like a person's parents were out, and so like it was somewhat understood that like we're all gonna go here, we're gonna drink for a while, probably gonna pass out. Like don't ask me for anything until like 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Don't do any kid stuff.
No.
Okay,
I mean, I had a very limited number of females there.
Okay. Nice.
But and so like roundabouts the time that the other people were passing out, like one person was like, let's put on Kids. And
shit.
did. And then like they passed out. And I think I was like the only one awake in the house.
You just stayed up watching Kids?
But I was like, this is engrossing.
Wow.
What happens next?
Okay.
Which I don't know. It was a fun way to watch it.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's a sordid tale, dude.
I'm not going to turn it off.
No, that would be wrong.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Dude,
I'd like to watch it again.
it's hard to find.
Is
No.
it?
Yeah.
I mean, I was starting to say that, but like, of course it is.
It's not streaming anywhere, and last time I looked, like thought about this.
Yeah, but-
and then I think the DVD, like there's no Blu-ray, and the DVDs are hard to find. But I bet Dallas
They're
Public
hard to find.
to buy. But I
Okay.
bet Dallas Public Library has it. Dallas Public Library has a surprising number of films.
I didn't know that.
Definitely.
I just know about the original copy of the Declaration of Independence.
I think they only have one of those.
They do only have one of those.
Yeah.
They won't let you check it out, but they will let you see it.
How sick would it be if you could check that out?
It'd be
Just
pretty
any
sick.
citizen of Dallas could just have 2 weeks. With
I mean, I have a library card.
Declaration.
Does that not
It's
entitle
like,
me to
is it-
certain things?
You know what I'm saying? Like that would be, you just vibe out with the Declaration, like get your Nicolas Cage on.
You ever gone to see it?
And not in Dallas. I've seen one in Washington D.C. I guess. Yeah, I did, dude. I learned from you about the one from Dallas. They are not making a big fuss about having this.
It's
Like-
confusing to me. I mean, on the one hand, like, what are you gonna do?
Dude, you should have it as a thing people can come see. Although, I mean, I think it
do.
is lame. Like,
It is like
So-
it's extremely easy. Like you
you-
walk into a building in the middle of downtown, like take an elevator ride to the 7th floor. I'm talking about the Dallas Central Public Library.
yeah.
And like step off the elevator and it's there. They're not hiding it. Like they're not trying to make it so you
I've been
can't.
to that library.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure you have.
I've overlooked the Declaration of Independence.
They got a Shakespeare thing, but I don't know. I care less.
Yeah, I'd see. Maybe I wasn't looking for that. I think I was just seeing what I used to like. Go see what the city's library was about. You
Yeah,
know,
I bet that's good in most cities.
when I had more time on my hands.
I've seen the top of the Chicago Public Library has a thing called the Winter Garden.
That's cool.
That yeah, it's tight. But I've tried to go, and they will have private events there like fairly frequently, I think.
All right.
And so it was like we could kind of like walk around it, but it was shut down.
The phrase "winter garden" is very evocative to me.
Man, it's tight, right?
Yeah, well, dude, the theater in the 80s and early 90s in the tri-state area, you could not watch TV without getting hit with a commercial to go see Cats on Broadway.
Okay.
And it was in the Winter Garden Theater.
Okay.
And so definitely, I remember, like, it's such a, it's, why is the garden in winter, dude? What's
know.
going on? I think it actually means you're growing like fucking roots and shit. Because at Excel, of all places, where we would dig holes in the garden, when I first got there, a staff member, I don't think you knew her, Neva,
No, I did not. I mean, I know who she is, but
she
yeah.
wanted us to start a winter garden. And I remember also being like, that's a real thing? I thought that was just from the Cats theater.
Yeah.
But then she was like, yeah, like growing fucking roots and shit. And now I'm hearing the Chicago one. So now I have a lot of questions like, is it like a horticultural theme? Is there like foliage? Is it like an arboretum? Because I would think in Chicago it would need to be like pretty it's a hardy like plant life.
I mean, I did not. So I could have possibly misinterpreted. I'd say at this point, likely misinterpreted because I did not have the context that you're now providing. But whenever I came to it, I thought that because it's like it's like an indoor outdoor space. I'm trying to recall it. I'm pretty sure it's just like it's the top of the library. You know the library in Chicago? It's got the lions.
I've only been to Chicago once.
Or no, it does not have the lions. It's the sorry.
The Lions is New York, right?
Yeah, the lions in New York. In Chicago, there are lions in front of the art museum.
Yeah, but that's kind of them getting their own Declaration of Independence a little bit.
I don't know. They're better lions.
Like, I mean, are they better than the New York Library one?
I don't know.
It's in front of the Chicago Art Museum. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
the
lions
Ferris
are.
Bueller, they go there?
Yeah.
It's pretty iconic.
But I don't know. If you saw it, you might know it. There's like a big green thing on top. The Chicago Public Library. Okay. It's tight.
I'm trying to picture it.
I mean, it's not important.
Yeah.
You know, it's an audio medium.
Okay. Wow.
But I figured that because it's...
Don't tell that to our 30 YouTube videos.
It's a space that like you could be enjoying the direct sunlight while still having it heated.
Nice.
So I thought that's kind of what they're going for. Like it is like a place in winter you can still enjoy a garden-like atmosphere.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense, dude. Like almost like a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Effect. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it kind of is like a greenhouse on top of the public library.
That's cool, man. That sounds cool. It is cool. Believe everybody who says there's cool stuff in Chicago, for sure. I just never...
There's a ton of it, dude.
I believe you, dude.
Filming locations from High Fidelity.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Not the TV show on Hulu. The new one. That's set in Brooklyn, I think. Right?
I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch it, and I guess I'd be really surprised if I connected with it to the degree to which I connected with the John Cusack film.
Yeah. I wouldn't waste your time. I don't think you will. And I think they canceled it already.
Okay. Well, kind of makes the decision for me.
Yeah. I wanted to work in a record store so bad when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to take, I think this isn't exactly how you feel about the subject. Reading the book High Fidelity made me feel good that I never had worked in a record store.
I mean, I wanted to do it because I read the book.
Yeah, I read it like in college, like after Excel. And I was like, this sounds I'd rather do something else at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a real failure of imagination, you know? Like, there are much more fulfilling jobs.
I mean, as a teenager, you get a lot of clout, I think.
And it's just like is it better than going to school?
Of course.
Night and day better than going to school.
Well,
sounds pretty dope.
There were like really cool seniors who worked it's still there. It's awesome, dude. If we ever, go up to New Jersey for whatever reason, dude,
I feel like we
have
should.
to stop there. But the store called Princeton Record Exchange, which fucking is still sick, but was, super sick back then. The coolest, like, seniors, a lot of whom had, like, been kicked out and went to the alternative high school that I wanted to go to, worked there, like, at least part-time.
Yeah.
And then, but, like, Princeton had, like, 5 record stores, because this was in the 90s. So we had, like, a Sam Goody, like 2 other used stores. So I had some friends who worked there, but it was like a descending ladder of coolness, I think.
I'll bet.
And Sam Goody was like the least cool.
One would hope.
Yeah. But the kid who worked there, I think like knowing that was super cool. AKA he was constantly letting us steal. Like from the Sam Goody.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew about the Bob Dylan bootleg series. It was because
you stole it as a middle school student?
I was a high school student, like right before I went to Excel. Yeah, I remember
I could not have given one shit about Bob Dylan before I arrived at the Excel Academy.
The Time Out of Mind album had come out.
I remember that.
And that like got a bunch of Grammys, and they're still, dude, Princeton High School is the land of kids who think their parents are cool. So like,
oh really?
Oh, for sure, dude. Like they're grubby overachievers, dude.
Never, considered that for a moment.
I mean, yeah. Well, they're out there, dude. So like we were talking about like the Beatles, a lot of kids would still be listening to them in the 90s. I remember like I was a freshman and I would get rides home because I didn't live in Princeton. So it was still like a 20-minute drive. But the other Cranberry kids, I would get rides home from like seniors because they were the only people who had cars. But looking back, I'm like, it's kind of lame. Like, how lame are you that a random freshman could be like, you know, give me a ride home? Like, we weren't friends or anything. And I remember being like the guy was like, this just won a Grammy, dude. And he put on the album Time Out of Mind. And the first song is tight. But then I was like, this just sounds like my dad's music, dude. Like,
It was.
yeah, definitely. But then I had a friend whose dad was really into like 70s Dylan. And he slid me Blood on the Tracks and was like, yo, check this shit out. And that is good. Like, I was vibing.
No,
with
I
that.
like Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
I like his music.
like him
I just,
too, dude.
you know.
So that got me going backwards. So by the time I got to Excel, I fucked with Bob Dylan hard, and I just never told anyone because it would come on. That's what I was saying. Like, the music rules were very personal. So if someone found out, or like in a snitch fest, like was like, actually, Alex told me he used to like smoke weed and listen to Bob Dylan. Like, I would not only get in trouble, Bob Dylan would get banned like from the school. It was already gray because I remember one time, you know, at a Sally concert, one of my boys who was also a huge Dylan head. And he was the other guy I told. We would rap together and then talked about like other music. He asked Sally to play Bob Dylan, and sometimes she would play like Blowing in the Wind or whatever. But she winked at him and she was like, I'll get in trouble. Like, implying that like it was a thing between them, that it's like, that's a little too hippie, you know, for Excel. And I was like, does Sally think we have a rule like no Bob Dylan? First of all, she's played it before. Second of all, we definitely don't have that rule. Are we about to have that rule? Like, that would suck.
A key, a key part of like, you as much as I'm saying, like the way that I would talk about, and it is true over the course of this, that the lack of clarity was frustrating. That's a situation where like I would intentionally go out of my way to make sure that there was not clarity. You know what I mean?
For sure, dude.
You did,
Yeah.
There were those situations where you understood the degree to which you were like flourishing in the darkness here.
For sure. That was one of my early ones because there was a kid who like looked up to us but would sometimes tell on us. He was a kid that told on us because we wouldn't let him play poker with the tokens, honestly.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, wait, guys, like, is that inappropriate now? And I'd just being like, shut the fuck up. Like it wasn't even like, it was just like, stop. Because there are gradations of Bob Dylan, you know, because he did, you know, he went electric. And it got like hippier, you know, in tone. And the regular oldies channel had very little in its playlist. It had like maybe Mr. Tambourine Man was like as edgy as it got.
Yeah.
But on Saturday nights, they had a syndicated oldies program that they clearly like bought. You know about this from
In what
from the
fucking
ticket days.
circumstance were they letting you listen on a Saturday night?
It was a different life, I think, when I first got there. Like, the vibe was just way different, dude. Saturday nights, sometimes we would go weekends where we didn't watch a movie. We would only watch one movie. Like, one night we would watch a movie, and that was the only movie we watched all weekend. So Saturday night, sometimes we would just have study hall or just like free time, they would call it. Okay. And you would just, and I was often the kid to ask, like, hey, can we put on music? Like, we're just sitting here. So it's like a loose study hall kind of.
I mean, most of the time I was there, they didn't have the equipment set up in the lodge to play music in there.
Wow, that's way different to me.
It's hard for me. Like, I do remember what you're talking about now, and like that Santana album. Whenever I think about listening to that Santana album, and I did enjoy it this week, and it is still dope.
I listened to Rage this morning.
Nice.
I was thinking about you.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Counting down the days.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking about. Because I think Run the Jewels came on like a shuffle or something. And then it got me thinking about, I Googled it. Actually, I have several musical corrections to make while we're on the topic, dude.
Okay.
I think...
We talked about it on the podcast, right? The Rage Run the Jewels concert?
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Because I think I said there was like a long rumored LP Zach De La Rocha album.
That's right.
But I was actually thinking of Trent Reznor Zach De La Rocha album, which was like long rumored. And Trent, so I looked it up. He said they have good tracks, but he's skeptical because he felt like Zach was constantly being like, if it sounded too much like Rage, he was like, this sounds too much like Rage. But if it got too far afield, he was like, people won't fuck with this because it's too far from what they're expecting from me. And so Trent was like, I don't think he really ended up liking any, but Trent liked it. And then there was like one single with LP. I think, like around the time Run the Jewels was popping.
Yeah.
But the other, so that's just minor though, dude. The real one is I don't think Henry Rollins is that short, dude. I sent you the picture of him next to Rogan. I mean, he's not
How
tall.
tall is Rogan?
Rogan was listed. I mean, I don't have this memorized, but I looked it up after I sent you. I just feel like I do come off as a weird guy as quickly as I was about to not only tell you how tall
Joe
but,
Rogan
like,
is 5'11".
well, he's actually listed this, but if you do the math with the fucking, like, there are dudes, you don't know this probably because you're not tall, but if you ever do more than just
Compared
like,
to who?
Well, wait, did I say you're not tall?
You did.
You're not short.
Thank
You
you.
are tall. My mistake, dude. I'm sorry, dude. I as a short person to my superior, I apologize, dude.
Yeah.
Please forgive me, dude.
Who's this guy?
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
Whatever,
I know how much
dude.
that means. No, I do. Because, dude, being short does cripple some guys like minds, dude. Like, I probably don't even have to tell you there's a whole subreddit for just like dealing with being short.
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know.
There's a lot of incel crossover for sure.
No way.
I know, dude. And then it's like every now and then, like just a very positive short man will pop in with his
He
like
gets
hot 5'9" girlfriend and
tutted
like
outta here.
he'll put a picture up and be like, "Hey guys, I used to be depressed too, but if you just put on a positive spin."
That's not what we're here for, bud.
Dude, they are not I mean, actually, it's more of a mixed bag than I'm portraying it as.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like, get the fuck out of here. Like, or they'll just be like, it gets oddly where they're like, dude, you're hot also. Like, your face is fucking smoking. Like,
Very
they're-
symmetrical.
Yeah, they're never talking about the woman. They're just like,
Your eye shape is nearly
exactly,
perfect.
dude. They're like, you have a lot to make up for it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, this is all very weird.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so guys will definitely be like, Allen Iverson is listed at 6 feet, but then it's like, well, in this picture, he's standing next to Michael Jordan. They're getting out the fucking Pythagorean theorem, dude, to prove that people are adding to their heights.
That's what this subreddit is about.
Not this particular one, but I think there's a celeb height subreddit.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm equivocating because I haven't visited it, but I think I've seen it in Google image results. Because that's what I'm saying. If you Google like Joe Rogan height, a lot of times I go to image results and it's just pictures of him next to various people. But a lot of times you'll see like the green triangle like drawn on with it's like the Sunny meme, of people trying to prove Joe Rogan's actually 5'5". And also, dude, you've seen the picture of him next to Alex Jones. Like it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Jones dwarfs him. Like,
Really?
Jones looks huge next. Maybe the one I saw was
How
doctored.
red is he?
Pretty red. I mean, it looks like he just did cocaine with Joe for 4 hours, dude. They're both very red and very happy, dude.
I mean, I assume it's the most recent episode
I think it is. If not, it's the one right before, like a year or two
where
ago.
Alex is not using cocaine, but he's pretty clear about the drinking. And
Alex Jones, you're talking about.
Yeah.
Alex Stevens does not do cocaine.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you.
And Joe starts like fronting him up about Ritalin addiction, and Alex is just like, not here for that.
Okay, that's fair, dude. Well, he's got his issues with his kids, dude. They demonized his efforts to just keep abreast of what cannabis was up to. Do you remember that?
No.
Dude, it was the best excuse ever. I kind of vibe with it because I like to know what's going on. Like if I'm interested in something. So in his custody dispute a few years ago,
I remember that.
They definitely asked him if he does drugs.
That was tough for everyone.
Yeah. Well, certainly, I didn't like it because
no winners.
Dude, I've done this in a depot, even though I'm a cannabis advocate, knowing that it'll get a good result to shake somebody up.
Oh, really?
I've never been like lying about it. All you have to do is ask the question, dude. It's just, because they do teach you like when.
I had a friend who that was weaponized against him in a custody battle. It was.
I wasn't that kind of lawyer. I
bad.
never would. Dude, I think I wouldn't feel good about saying someone shouldn't get access or
I would hope
get to see their
that
kids.
everyone
because
involved in that feels bad now.
Well, dude, you can smoke enough weed to be a bad parent. Like,
Sure,
for sure.
you can, but he didn't.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you're a friend. But I'm saying there are, like, dude, it's like anything else. You can play enough video games to be a bad parent. Like, it doesn't mean you shouldn't get custody if you play video games.
Yeah.
It's like people can go. You can also be sober and be a dry drunk asshole.
I think that there's the problems that we're talking about are essentially all problems created by having bad parents. More or less all problems in the world are problems created by someone having bad parents.
Like I said, dude, Eve ate the apple.
But I still so like I'm sensitive to the giant harm that can be unleashed here. But whenever I think about like whenever I got a kid and realized that there is a mechanism for the state to take that kid away,
Yeah.
I was just like,
It's fucked up, right?
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like it just shouldn't be on the table. And I mean, like,
But then when
you
you
can
look-
of course put cases in front of me,
Exactly,
where
dude.
like, yeah, duh.
And you're like, how could you tell this kid there's no alternative but to live with your horribly abusive parents?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's such a shitty situation, dude. Again,
But just
girl
in the
with dragon
moments after
tattoo
they
hits
handed
all
my
of this.
newborn baby over, if you
Yeah.
told me like, actually the state can take this back, do you think that's okay? Like, you're just not getting me to say yes. You know
Of
what I
course
mean?
not, dude.
Yeah.
I'm Sandler and Big Daddy. Take out your handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? Of course.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, when I think about my kid and then think about how other people hurt their own kids, it just fills me with like, I don't know if I'm sad or angry, dude. Both. Like, and I'm like, those kids should get something else than that. But then it's like, well, they could go in the foster system and be one of the like 30,000 kids that go missing from that every year. That's probably not better. I don't know, dude. It's tough, man. It's so hard. And I feel like it's easy not to get super political again, but if you don't fuck with Trump, it's easy to be like, either his practices with the kids were bad, or to be like, fuck those kids because you like Trump. And by the same token, now I have noticed online people being like, so the kids are still in the cages, so Biden sucks too, I guess. Which maybe, but then I see people being like, no, but there are differences. And then I just scroll down. Like, I don't care. And which is fucked up to say, dude. Like,
It's my suspicion that Joe Biden's not running that in a way that I would approve of if I were aware of the intimate details.
That has to be true. Mm-hmm. The same way it's like when people would bring it up with Trump, sometimes people would be like, well, where were you when Obama did it? I was always like, that's kind of a bullshit response, because it's like, maybe Obama did have it fucked up, but that's no reason. Just because you didn't start at the best time doesn't mean you can never start caring about something. Like if it took just you hate Donald Trump.
The other guy did it terribly too. Is not like in a work situation, if you're defending your work and your best defense is like Brad also sucks at this, you're already admitting that you suck at it.
Definitely. You're creating
not
a group of people who suck and joining it. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. But so I agree. Like the border kids, no way that is like up to what I would want without even knowing what's going on there.
Yeah. That's where I am. I don't know and I don't approve.
For sure. Yeah. I agree. And but I have done a lot of thinking since our last discussion, and the fact that any type of organizing for any kind of change creates a circumstance where people could get new kinds of power over other people is, I'm now willing to say, not a reason to never attempt to do it. So I don't want to just throw up my hands and say like there's a certain amount of child abuse or neglect we have to accept in the world. But it is fucking depressing to say that it appears to be the case historically. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, it sucks that it's confusing even whether anything's changed at the border after it, like for once, child welfare was an electoral issue. That like never happens because they can't vote. Yeah. And it was even like more wild because they weren't even.
I'm inclined to, I feel like it has to be better, right?
Well, no way it got worse, I think. Well, this is again an idiot who like only is on Twitter.
I did listen to. Here's the extent of my philanthropy. I listened to what's the big NPR program, the flagship.
First things first.
No.
There's
the WBZ, Ira Glass, This American Life.
Oh, This American Life. Okay.
I listened to the This American Life.
I want to start doing that for this pod. Like at the beginning. Like, this is TC.
This is Alex.
This No, that dude, you're not doing it. That's a little harsh, dude.
But I listened to the This American Life about, like, it was after the Remain in Mexico policy. They were explaining, like, surely you've heard the words Remain in Mexico. Here's what it actually means.
Remain? I hadn't until now. This is the first I've
really?
heard of it.
And you make me argue politics with you ever?
All the time. Yeah, I know. I agree. It's a flawed system.
Yeah, one of the big innovations, like one of the primary things that, like, the Trump administration's big plan for, like, well, we want to abuse the shit out of these people and we want everyone to stop yelling at us about it. How
Right.
can we get both of those objectives done? And their big thing was that they got an agreement between us and Mexico and, like, all of the relevant powers that whenever someone applied for asylum, that they had to be in Mexico until that claim was processed. Previously, if you made it to America and claimed asylum,
Right.
you would stay in America while America was deciding your asylum case.
Right. And you could even just go be out and about.
Yeah.
So I think, like, this is not how I feel, but from what I recall,
Yeah, I want to be clear. I'm fine with the out and about. I don't give a shit about any of it.
yeah.
Borders are a fucking human invention.
Do you think the globe
We're all
should just,
people
we
and
don't
we-
have countries at all? I always wonder about that, dude. It seems like one of those debates where it's, like, so far from happening that it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, and I anticipate that, like, probably goes bad for, I don't know, like, what is the position of the average worker if that occurs?
It's not a podcast, there's.
Because, like the EU, people often, like, from the left will attack the fact that the EU exists because it made capital, like, it just put a lot of, like, floating layers of ambiguity
For sure.
between the worker and the management.
I think that's right.
That, like, have been constantly abused by capital to,
Right.
you know, so, like, if that dynamic is spread worldwide, does it get better for us or does it get worse? I don't know.
Well, it seems like it probably worse for Americans.
Probably worse.
But still maybe better for
But
everybody.
yeah, if it would make it, like if
Dude, if the guys
if
at the
my
be-
life were 5%, I mean, you know, whatever. If my
Dude,
life
how
were
much
much worse
slack
and
do
everyone
we
else's
have
life
to
was much
give?
better, I would
exactly,
do it.
dude.
Yeah.
Think about this, dude. The guys at the beginning of Uncut Gems, dude. How much slack in our life do we have to give up before they're equal to us?
Yeah, and I would give up a
You
lot
know?
of it.
Basically, we have to work in the mine and maybe not get the leg chopped off. Like, you know, like, we have a long way to go before they have any, like, before, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, like, globally solving income inequality like that.
Yeah.
It's like just being American, even if you're, like, very poor. And again, I think how
There's parts of America that are pretty fucking bad.
I'm assuming that's true. Like, but you have to, I'm talking like that needs to be like no running water and shit.
That's what I'm
Like,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. And I don't doubt, and like, I haven't been to any of them in America, but I don't doubt that they exist.
There are parts of Dallas where it is much more difficult to get water than you would anticipate.
Yeah, it seems like the
Like,
freeze
within the
kind of
city
brought
limits.
some of that stuff out to the fore a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be like skeptical about it. I am not skeptical about it.
Like, I think there's
believe
communities
that.
off Wheatland Road that, like, don't have water.
I don't know what that is,
Wheatland Road? Oh,
but I'm assuming it's a road in Dallas.
it is.
Yeah. Swear.
You don't got to have a bunch of guesses. You've been here a while.
Yeah. Well, I hope they get water, dude. I mean that. People should have water in 2020
We tend not
in
to
Dallas.
neglect the people that live in the northern part of the city.
I agree, dude.
I'll leave you to guess what race they are predominantly.
Well, dude, you could probably tell if you rewound it, I was about to guess South Dallas. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know why we should be cagey about that.
Yeah.
It's like a sensitive subject, but it is like where the divide between the haves and have-nots in our city is the most apparent.
Yeah.
You shouldn't treat that as like a shameful subject that
Southern
you can't
Dallas.
discuss. Yeah. I said South
Yeah.
Dallas. Are they different things?
They are.
Okay.
South Dallas refers to a specific neighborhood. I think it's a bad idea. Like the construction that they, like, you know, I at various times, to varying degrees, have been very interested in the city and its governments.
Yep.
And so, you know, I have to, like, be able to correctly delineate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I think it's annoying and dumb.
It is. This is the first time finding out about it, and I'm
The
already
neighborhood around
agreeing.
Fair Park is called South Dallas.
Okay, I always kind of
Which
thought
is
that's
not
the
like
beginning
the
of
most
South Dallas.
directly southern part, though. Like, it's kind of to the east of downtown.
Definitely.
which is very frustrating to me as, someone who's
It's interesting.
prefers, clarity in
Well,
terms.
dude, I might have brought this up to you, but this always frustrated me. So, Erica Badu, I'm pretty sure, lives like by the peninsula by White Rock.
Okay.
I think. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's only like 10 houses that are like on the peninsula.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's one of them. But I remember hearing like it's generally around there.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. And there was a New Yorker article, I think, profiling her that said that Erica Badu, like famously lives in North Dallas.
I mean, that's frustrating.
I was like, that is not right, dude.
On that
Like,
side of 75, fuck
right?
off.
Like, I don't care how far north you are. Like, you could be in Rowlett.
Like-
I guess then you'd just be in Rowlett.
It does bother me, like that these terms, like I wish that like North Dallas just has such a clear, obvious meaning to people outside of it, which is like the entire area north of downtown.
I was going to say, if you're only going to have north and south, I guess it is north.
But that's not what
You
our
don't
experience.
only have north and south.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, there's like I would consider like anything east of 75 is definitely not North Dallas.
I fully agree.
But like, to an outsider, Lake Highlands, like if you said Lake Highlands, that's
Right.
not North Dallas. Like then they'd get out a map and start being like,
Yeah, and Lake
here's where
Highlands
Dallas is. Is it north or is it not?
And like, if you were gonna say North Dallas captures a vibe, that phrase
Mm-hmm.
is like Lake Highlands doesn't not have that vibe.
Yeah,
like if you pick out of all the
yeah.
places around there,
Yeah.
Lake Highlands,
Yeah.
it's the most like Preston Hollow-y.
But it is still.
It's not Preston Hollow-y at all, but
Yeah, no, and if you told people in Preston Hollow that,
I know,
you
I can
guys are
hear-
like Lake Highlands, they'd fucking
Exactly.
punch you.
Dude, I know, dude.
They'd hire someone to punch
I don't
you.
know how many Preston Hollow listeners we have, but that's why I correct
Sound
myself
off in the comments.
immediately. Yeah, please do, dude. And then fuck yourselves.
I hope they're as bothered as I am by the Preston Hollow 24-hour ER. That place can fuck right off. I've never been there. I don't have any like. This isn't like a business-based thing.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't?
No.
So at Walnut Hill and 75,
Okay.
on the corner, like the northeast corner of Walnut Hill and 75, there's a thing that's called the Preston Hollow ER.
Preston Hollow ER, emergency room.
Like it's one of those.
It's like ambulatory.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Dude, I hear the inside scoop is don't go to them ever.
I've also
From
heard
like
that.
people who are in the biz, like I've heard, yeah, never.
I
don't know why.
had to get
Dude, I go to them all the
a
time.
rapid COVID test from one, and I thought that I was gonna just was ready for like it's gonna be $1,000, and
It's like
it worked out.
$75, dude.
No, I never had to pay anything.
Oh, really?
I just walked out.
I feel like every time I went to one, whatever it was $75. Like
Yeah.
just every single time, and they could do a lot, dude.
Like
They-
someone told, like I kind of like was loitering by the desk, and someone was like, "You're good," and I just didn't want to ask any more questions.
That's tight.
I thought that they might be wrong.
Did you like give them an insurance card or something?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
okay,
had
okay.
another reason to talk to my insurance later. And I was like, "Hey, while we're on the phone, can you just tell me like how big of a bill's coming for this thing?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "It's been processed. You're
That's
good."
tight, dude.
Yeah, it was great.
My bigger issue with the healthcare system is like that shouldn't be a pleasant surprise, dude. It's
I
too
agree.
much stress to be like playing detective to just
No,
know
we're
how
fucked.
much
It's
you
very,
gotta
very bad.
pay, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on, dude?
Absolutely. Like
yeah, it's too much.
even if like all the prices were the same, it would be such a massive improvement if it just worked like a fucking restaurant works, where like there's a
Yeah.
menu of things. Whenever people like just it is absolutely true that hospitals do not have like it's not that they're not showing you that because they're trying to like be sneaky.
They have no fucking
don't
clue.
have it.
Yeah,
They
it's
like
too complex.
they are going to like more or less see what you can pay and take that.
Yeah,
Like and
it's like the computer is like an oracle god that kind of spits out numbers, and then everyone kind of like works around them and
Yeah.
negotiates. It sucks, dude.
it's terrible.
But I will say, dude,
Demands changing.
I think that's right. But the actual experience at the fucking where we had our kid at Baylor, dude, I was like, this rules. Like don't insurance paid for it. I mean, we get bills that we're still like, it's weird. It's like $70 for this one thing. Remember that? Here's your bill 7 months later or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, none of them are like the wild ones. And it was it was like being in a hotel where you had babies. Like,
My daughter was born in Baylor.
oh, really? Yeah. Dude, how sick was that place, dude?
It was sick.
It was
The one thing that
awesome,
stood out
dude.
though is like Megan had like something had to happen like late at night, and I read a lot of this is not good self-care, but I read a lot of like medical horror story
Oh,
journalism.
Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah.
Just like
That's not
billing
good.
stuff.
Okay.
I want to be clear.
Okay. That's better.
I realized that the way I phrased that was not
Yeah,
just
I
like
thought you
people
were-
who get hit with surprise bills. You know, someone like has an accident on their bicycle,
yeah.
and a couple months later finds out that they owe $2 million.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that beat.
Yeah. So I know that one of the biggest like commonalities in those stories is that it was a late at night thing.
Yeah.
Like that you've got fewer anesthetists on staff than the chances that one of those is out of network, or that they don't have an in-network one available is
There's
higher.
just guys coming through.
Yeah.
It's like a strip club, dude. You know, like this is the crew of dancers tonight.
Yeah.
Like some of them are visiting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude.
And so, so when they're like going to get the anesthetist or whatever to do this pain killing procedure, I'm like, but are they in network? Like, I stopped to ask, are they in network? And the nurse was like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't have any fucking clue about it. Like, the difference could be like hundreds of thousands. Like,
sure.
I've heard of situations. So if it's possible it's hundreds, but it's probably not gonna be hundreds of thousands for us. Probably not. But
Yeah.
like, would I pay $2,000? And in this case, it was like 15 minutes from the next shift. So I'm like, would I ask my wife to wait 15 minutes of this pain for $10,000? I fucking would.
You'd fucking
It's
earn it.
$10,000.
You'd earn every penny, but like
I think that she would.
Yeah. Well, you both.
I would. I would if I'm in this.
I was just picturing that scenario because I know you didn't do that. Because dude, when you're in the baby hospital, first of all, you're a stranger in a strange land as a dude, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're a guest. Like,
yeah.
They're not looking for male-brained like analysis or like. I don't mean to like resort to gender
You're right.
essentialism.
You are right.
but they're just like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
you're lucky we let you be here.
We've carved out one tiny sliver of this godforsaken earth for ourselves.
Exactly, dude.
And it's this fucking delivering of babies.
Yeah. And they don't make decisions of like a guy jumping in and being like, what if you're wrong? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was more like democratic, and like, it felt like you had to go with the flow much more than I was used to.
That was the
Like-
only time that I expressed an opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't give a
I felt
shit.
myself sitting on a lot of opinions where I was just like, you're in the women's world now, dude. Let them do their thing. Like, basically, you're in the hut, dude. They let dudes into the hut. Like, but this is the midwives and stuff. And we had a doula, but because of COVID, she couldn't come in. So she was going to Skype in.
What she's doing?
Well, she like came to our house. Like, I think, so COVID hadn't started when we got her.
Sure.
So the doula package was like 2 visits.
And she's,
then-
trying to adapt to these changing circumstances as much as any of us.
And she was really cool and nice. Like, she was really nice.
That's cool.
And really, like,
I just feel like most of the value of that service probably is lost by.
it's hard for me to say because we didn't get the in-person. And I think
I mean,
we
as someone
actually-
who was around for a childbirth that did not involve a doula, it seems like a bit of an extra to me, anyways. But
Well, dude, I think we hurt our doula's feelings because she was supposed to Skype in, and we were vibing with the doula. Like, she was pretty young. She might have been younger than my wife. Like, she was a young doula. Like, I picture like an old lady, like kind of a crone. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like a cool crone, but a crone. But she was just like a young girl, basically. I think we hurt her feelings because the birth did not take that long. Like, not to brag, but it was like I was on Skype duty, but it was like, I was like, I had the app open or whatever, and then I had to do something, and before I knew it, dude, they're like, hold this fucking baby, I was like, so doula, we hit her up. But of course, like, I think we called parents first, you know what I mean? And the doula was kind of like, oh, you actually had the
Be hard
baby.
not to, I mean, she had expectations.
I guess you didn't need me. All right. I guess we'll never meet again then. Bye. All right. Bye. Enjoy the baby.
I have a second child. You never know.
No one gets to do it for the second child. It's much more, I think,
sense.
like, and that's what I was saying. Like, we did get a lot of value because she sat in our house and my wife basically got to ask her a million questions. And one of the things
I would have liked that.
It was really helpful. And one of the things,
we went to like the classes that Baylor told us to go to.
Probably we went to the same classes then.
Yeah.
I think there are like doulas affiliated. It's like that place you go up the stairs.
One of them seemed like just a repeat. It was downstairs.
Downstairs. Was there an upstairs like lofty area? Was it like kind of downtown?
I mean, it was at Baylor.
In the facility?
Yeah.
Oh,
the classes?
Yeah, our classes were like in the doula network, dude. But they acted like maybe they weren't officially affiliated with Baylor, but they knew about Baylor.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say. Like a big part of the value was the doula giving everybody the confidence to be like, I will advocate for you. If there are some doctors, I didn't think about it in terms of the rotation. It's like you got a rando 80-year-old guy that is just like, you should do this, this, and this. That's like
oh yeah, I guess that's possible. I mean, we just had our person.
We didn't have the lady that we went to checkups with. Oh yeah, we did have her. Yeah. But it was possible we wouldn't.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And she was cool. Like she knew the doula and shit.
Yeah.
But like just giving you the confidence to be like, you can speak up. I said
that was wild. Like she like. The situation was that, Megan was about halfway done for like a long time,
Oh, and you just chilled.
Yeah. I mean, she was on a lot of painkillers by then, so she was able to chill. But so the doctor would like go and then like be like, nothing's probably going to happen for about 6 hours. So I'll see you guys in 6 hours.
Yeah.
We can talk then.
Yeah.
And so like these happened several times throughout the day. So I think the first one, it was just like regular work stuff. But then clearly she like went to a dinner, like based on the timing. And then she shows back up and like her hair was done,
Yeah.
And then like, comes back well after the dinner, like the baby ended up being delivered at like 11 p.m. I think is around when Izzy came in.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about everyone else at that dinner,
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta go. Ladies fucking legs are up in the shit. Like,
yeah, she probably loves it though, dude.
I would.
I was thinking, if you're a doctor, that's probably like her life many weeknights.
Yeah.
And she's just like, how it is. I got a fucking jet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I have thought.
I'm sure you guys have jobs too, right? Huh? What do you do,
dude? I think these.
It's not bringing life into the world,
dude.
Okay.
People like nurses, dude. I'm not gonna get into all my theories about them, but
I don't think you can.
I don't think so either. It's not that kind of podcast. But I do think there's a lot of people drawn to like it's not the trauma, but like the adrenaline, the like stop and start nature of the like.
That's what Flatliners is about, I assume. I've never seen it.
I'm also assuming. Yeah.
It looks like it.
That's Kevin Bacon?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't seen it. Anyway, I don't know how far afield we got, but all I was gonna say was, dude, the same way Mikael Blomkvist was uncomfortable revealing the full details because it was Lisbeth's like tale to reveal her sexual assault. No matter how much she felt, it was the right thing to reveal. Again, it's an analogy from a literary work. That did not happen. But among the many possible reasons people could have to want me fired, I believe that one of them, and perhaps the motivating one, and that's a difficult thing to get into without facts that even I, to this day, don't think I have. But I think one of them was that I opposed practices that I believed did not comply with, best practices, guidelines, but also, in my opinion, some laws. And there it's like even hard, like I'm an employment lawyer. That's what I can really only have an opinion about. And there, like I can feel myself getting nervous because it's like, if you say I oppose the practice that I believe violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, it's like, if I just say that, that can't be defamatory. It's my opinion and there's a basis for it. But to say that, you kind of have to then be like, all right, what does that act prohibit? It's one of these things, clearly. And that act prohibits like being racist, being sexist, like basically any category that society at a federal level has agreed deserves protection from white dudes in power. Like you did something wrong to one of them, you know what I mean? Or something that leads to harm to one of those groups. Because you don't need to like fire someone for being Asian to violate it. You can have policies that affect Asian people. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't necessarily need malicious intent. But it's still like calling someone a racist is the worst thing you can call someone. You know what I mean? Calling
That's what
someone,
I'm saying. We need more words.
yeah, no, I hear you, dude. So like, it makes me like uneasy to even be like, I oppose the practice that I believed violated Title VII. Because it's like, that practice doesn't mean I experience discrimination myself as someone in one of these categories. Now, obviously, I am in some of these categories that get protected, and I do feel that I experienced adverse employment
I think you're
actions.
really leaning into the Italian thing too hard at this point.
Yeah. It's the Italian thing, I think, somewhat. There are some other, I think, even our society protects.
We moved on from it without you explaining the Italian thing, and I think it was hard for me not to demonstrate what you showed me and like put it on like a Twitter or something,
Dude,
because I feel
I
like
think
it
it's
would
made
go
for TikTok,
I feel like it would go viral.
I agree, dude.
Yeah,
It needs to
I think
happen.
the fact that I saw it in real life instead of a TikTok is a big shock to me.
It's so funny,
But
dude.
explain it.
I mean, dude, I don't need credit. I don't have a TikTok. If a listener wants to go ahead and make the video, you will go viral, dude.
Now we need to make a life skills account.
I
so
mean,
the
we should, dude.
gets,
But if someone wants to beat us to it, just like retweet a link to the podcast or something.
Yeah.
When you're Little Nas X.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But, dude, okay, so I think it's more important what companies do than what governments do in terms of all these
Yeah.
laws anyway.
And I'm not in really, I don't have a strenuous disagreement.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, practically, it really plays out that way. So,
But we don't vote on company boards.
which makes it even wilder, but we kind of do with our wallets and social media heat, I guess.
And one day I might have enough shares.
Yeah, hopefully. I agree. But so fucking, oh yeah. So we probably, maybe not everybody knows, but if you listen to like enough hip hop, rap, or I would say those are the main genres, maybe some R&B songs, but you ask Siri. I don't know about Alexa. I'm a Siri household, but you ask Siri to play certain music, and even if you get the title wrong, or you ask her by referencing lyrics, like you could be like, I'm trying to think of a song. You could be like, hey Siri, play Biggie, 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 Can't You See? And she'll hit you with she'll very subtly correct you, like the way a parent would when a kid says something wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She'll be like, okay, I'll go ahead and put on Hypnotize by the Notorious B.I.G. So if you do that enough, you'll eventually hit on a song that has the N-word in it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not telling on myself, like experimenting, throwing the N-word at Siri, but I have asked her to play a song, and then she hits me back with the song title. The song title has the N-word in it, and Siri doesn't say it. She bleeps herself out, which definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you would have kids thinking it's funny to get Siri to say the N-word.
Like the Obama audiobook.
Precisely, dude. Exactly. So you would have, speaking of TikTok, tens of thousands of videos of idiot white kids laughing hysterically as they got Siri to say racist stuff the same way Obama did. Which I don't know the context of the Obama quotes, so they're insane every time I hear them.
He's telling a story.
But I'm assuming it's like from back in the day, like when he was a
when he was young.
delinquent.
Yeah.
Because, but
Give me your own damn frog.
Yeah,
Get your own damn
that's the big
fries.
one. Yeah, which I guess nothing delinquent about that, but I associate it with like Choom Gang. Like that sounded like something someone in the Choom Gang would say to somebody else. So, you know.
For some reason, I don't know if this is based in fact. It's been a long time since the Obama book came out.
Yeah, there's a couple, right?
I imagined it being like a older person saying it to him.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure. He has written more than one book. I don't know how many of them Howard Stern mined for content.
Oh, that's a Stern bit?
I think so.
Like how that became popular?
I think so.
It seems
I could
like
be wrong.
Once
it's not
happens,
like he's the
like,
first
this
one.
Was always
Exactly. Like, can
the
anyone
glass was already
claim?
Broken, dude.
Yeah, like he certainly had fun with it, but
like he made this, and the internet exists. So
he's probably going to have fun with the Chet Hanks. Or does Howard stay on things like Chet Hanks?
I think he pays people to give him a briefing,
but like, does he do Chet Hanks today?
I haven't listened to Howard since before Excel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was a Howard head, though.
Yeah, it was Loveline that I just started getting real big into as I was being sent away.
I was also a huge Loveline head. They were both like syndicated on the same station.
Yes, that's why I was about to confuse them.
Yeah. Howard, was early. Q104.3 for me. New York's like hard rock station.
We still have the Eagle.
Okay.
I was listening to it on the Eagle, although it went away for a while.
They don't
I don't know
still
if you
do
recall
Loveline, though, right?
I don't think that like Loveline still does Loveline.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla are no longer.
Well, there was a thing where their contracts were negotiated separately, which like that in itself, like pretty fucked up. I'm not in favor of it. I mean, it's a common practice, but I
feel like you got to figure out between the two of you how that's going to go.
Well,
because you got to be ready for the game theory, dude. Like,
basically, Dr. Drew, like they still do stuff. Like Carolla has a podcast, and we'll have Dr. Drew on it. So they've managed to move past it. But it was Dr. Drew was like, so I can get this money, and I get it either way.
Interesting, dude.
And
dude, I'm expecting Netflix to throw that at us when they eventually adapt Life Skills Podcast into a series.
Well, the thing that we need to understand is that what benefits each individual and the group is for us to work collectively and trust each other.
I agree with that, dude. They can't split us up, dude. I'll say it on the air, dude. I think we should do the Wu-Tang model, where it's like this is Wu-Tang Clan. If you want to go make your Method Man album, if you want to make Tikal 2000, you should. If RZA wants to make beats for it, he should. But if you want to just go be a Def Jam artist, you know what I mean, and just be on a Wu-Tang album when there is one, I think that's how it should go. But it's like the Loveline should have stayed Loveline. Like splitting up or they should have just agreed.
Like they ran someone else in. Ways. Like what I'm saying is that there was several years Carolla? Of shows. Yeah, that Carolla got replaced.
It's because you need the Dr. Drew's vibe. Also,
I assume that it sucked. I'll never know.
Dr. Drew's so different now. But like back then,
very different now.
His vibe really. I guess Carolla is different too. He's more of himself.
Also different.
But it's like that's what I'm saying. In modern day Carolla, unless you get a strong personality in there, but it can't be a strong personality like another Carolla, dude. And he's just gonna show out, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're right.
It's gonna be like when Carolla went on tour with Dennis Leary.
It was lightning in a bottle. It's not gonna. Yeah. It's not coming back. But it was beautiful, and I was glad that I got to see it for the time that I did.
Dude, have I told you one of my like dream jobs? I mean, I know we've talked about White Tyler Perry, but
of course.
I kind of think I would be a good, not the Andy Cohen guy on Bravo who talks to the housewives, like that does their like catch-up shows, but Dr. Drew does like the MTV Teen Mom. Like I think Celebrity Rehab, that wasn't really my thing, but more Teen Mom is where I got this idea. I was like, actually, I used to think I'd be a good producer on Teen Mom, and I still do, but I don't think I'm suited for it anymore. But I kind of low-key dream job is I would like to take over for Dr. Drew as like the mental health host of like trash television.
I would love to watch that.
I think I would really raise the bar.
I would enjoy that.
And it's like I'd bring a little more Carolla to it. But I think Dr. Drew's been a fake doctor for so long And there's been a
The
lot
fact
of
that you've read several books makes you roughly equally
because I'm humble,
qualified.
dude. Yeah, because I'm humble.
Yeah.
Like, dude, how much damage, dude? How have we not
you
talked
know,
about Dr. Phil?
How
yet?
is the humble not coming across from this guy who's saying he knows more than a doctor because he's read a couple books?
Well, I'm saying Dr. Drew has sold himself out, dude. He's like,
I understand.
He's not doing right by the teen moms, in my opinion. I last watched this like 5 years ago. But I'm happy to get dogged on, dude. I don't mean to be too defensive about that. He's not a real doctor anymore, dude.
I'd love
He's
to be a
fake
producer
doctor.
on The Bachelor. I watched.
I've never seen The Bachelor.
It's exceptional television.
It
The one
doesn't
I
appeal to
watched, they
me.
went to the Poconos.
I like that.
That's my only
that
reference to the
surprises the
Poconos.
shit out of me, dude. That's kind of funny to me.
Yeah,
It just doesn't seem right.
I agree.
It's like I'm picturing Woody Allen as the Bachelor now.
I mean, all of them are like, I have to imagine, I mean, I'd like to be a producer, so I would understand this better, that it's some amount of probably, it has to be the places that they're going are paying them.
I think for the Bachelor, that's almost
Like this is an
certainly true.
advertisement. And so it's,
It would be
it's
the height
just,
of folly to not have it set up that way.
so it's kind of just what's the highest bidder? Like not like we want somewhat to cultivate the brand of the show. We'd be idiots and lose a lot of money if we didn't pay some
Probably
attention
a
to it.
balancing act.
But probably the most important factor is just the Poconos like really wants
Yeah.
that.
Well, dude, I feel the exact same way. Real Housewives of Dallas, dude. Because I will watch that one when my wife watches it.
I have not, but I would like to.
Well, it's the
I
exact
have watched
same.
other Dallas-based reality television shows and have always universally enjoyed them.
I do too. It's nice to be like, oh, that's fucking Whole Foods or whatever. But
That is nice.
I love it, dude. There's no better feel. I mean, like a bench at White Rock Lake. You're like, fuck yeah.
The fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme
Wait, what?
where he's pointing at the TV.
Oh yeah,
he's on the TV.
exactly. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
I was this morning for a guy who doesn't do cocaine. This is kind of funny, but I was on our cocaine this morning. I don't even know how I got on there.
I was on our mattresses this morning.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Are you in the
I
market?
think we'd probably like to get another mattress.
Okay. Well, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
trying to learn about
I didn't. I
cocaine.
mean, I guess in retrospect, of course, it makes sense. But like seeing the depth and the passionate feelings present on our mattresses was
Yeah.
surprising to me.
Yeah, I believe. Well, they're on the Reddit, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I just bought one of the ones that are like you can turn it back in 90 days, like one of the internet ones. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, it was a good price. It seems.
I mean, that was one of the big things is that our mattresses wanted you to understand is that those deals are not like you can return the literal mattress, but
Yeah.
they're like all that box spring and frame and like everything else that would comprise like at least half of the cost of this thing.
Yeah.
That's not covered by that. So
Oh,
you can
shit.
pick another one of our mattresses that fits with that box spring if you would like.
Shit.
But
We don't
only
have a
said
box
mattress.
spring. We only got them because our bed is like a different, a non-box spring bed. That was
Okay.
important to me. I'm done with box springs, dude.
Done with box springs.
Yeah. So it was like the new bed frame was around the same time. And I was like, let's just go. I think they were called like platform. But I also, dude, not to make everything about being short, but as a short person, what do I need a box
It's
spring for?
impossible for y'all.
I need a step stool to like get on the bed with a big box spring, dude. You know what I mean? Like you're laughing, dude. I'm like, what the fuck,
Got to
dude?
jump up there.
Yeah, dude. I need a fucking oxygen tank. It's terrible. The platform's nice. It feels
Keep
like
jumping,
Japanese.
bud. You'll get it.
I shouldn't have to. Yeah, dude. But yeah, the R cocaine, there was a very funny meme where it was like the Leo, the smug, I guess it's not Once Upon a Time actually, is Django Unchained. But like where he's like smugly laughing. And it was like a much cruder version of like the meme was just like her, what makes you think we'll hook up on the first date? And then the answer is like Leo smugly laughing, but a bag of cocaine has been photoshopped in his hand. But it was cruder than that.
That's
and I was
good.
like, I get that joke. I don't do cocaine, or engage in that kind of transactional dating, but I did get the joke.
I
that
have
said
seen
that
other people do it.
I've definitely, I think
It
I told
appears
you,
to be a dynamic underfoot in human personal relations.
it makes me sad, dude. I mean, maybe everybody's getting what they want. I told you about the tip where you just change your Tinder profile to say you have cocaine. Like if you're on Tinder after midnight, just change it to say that you have cocaine. and just be like, if you swipe within the next 2 hours, you can come do coke with me. And it's like, you will never do better. I've never done this. I've never had Tinder. I
mean, if you think that's good, you should try like actually having it.
Actually having cocaine?
Yeah.
Well, no, these were guys with cocaine, but no women.
Okay.
Just being like, no, bro. Here's
Just
what we
write
figured
down
out.
that we have it.
Yeah, exactly.
This will
'Cause
work
it's
out.
like, dude, if girls knew we had cocaine, they would be here. And it's like, well, how do we
Correct.
tell them? Like, yeah. It made me like
I mean, if
despondent
the
in the
situation
moment.
were true in reverse,
I was just upset that girls were coming, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
is there anything better than being in a room full of guys doing cocaine and not doing cocaine? It's fucking awesome, dude.
I have done it.
I do appreciate it because I've noticed, dude, I mean, for as casually as we talk about, like, you know, first of all, it's very spiritual with us. I think like we should make that clear. It's entheogenic. I think cannabis, psychedelics, all that. Whereas cocaine is just like a fucking hard. It's the opposite of that in many ways. It's like a go, 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 you know, kind of energy. I feel like I don't really get
Yeah.
it.
I mean, you know, it certainly wouldn't be captured by the upper downer. you
Yeah,
know.
upper. I think it is. That well, being sarcastic? It seems upper to me.
There are psychedelics that are uppers.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Although, dude, do you get sleepy at first?
No.
The only other person I've talked to that gets sleepy at first also gets sleepy from cocaine.
Huh.
And yeah, there's something going on there. He's a bro science guy, so we have a lot of theories about it. But what the fuck were we talking about, dude? I don't know. Oh,
You got fired from the law firm.
Yeah, that's true. But I do want to close the loop on casual cocaine use. I feel like I advocate for casual use of a lot of drugs that I actually don't use at all. And
Opiates being the big one.
Yeah, dude. I don't think anyone should use opiates casually.
I don't think they should use it at all.
I mean, I'm not ready to be categorical, but
Yeah, you know, I mean,
definitely
certainly
seems like the pendulum went the wrong way.
there's a Mountain Goat song that I treat as a real life philosophy about like the chorus is just stay alive.
Okay.
And so it's more or less being like, you know, all those things that people told you not to do. If you need to do them for you to like not kill yourself, then just do them.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that. The only thing I would say is,
So under those circumstances, do all the heroin you want.
but there may come a time,
But-
if anyone hears this and is like, okay, I should do heroin then, that may be the right move right now. But,
Hopefully that's not the situation you're in.
well, what I'm saying is, dude, this is important to hear. If you do think that might apply to you for any substance or whatever, there may come a time when you feel yourself being torn or even like torn apart because the part of you that has learned that heroin solves the problem you're trying to solve is grappling with the part of you that is learning that under the new facts of your life, you're gonna have to adjust that. And I would just say, don't let the permission that you give yourself to use something to get through become like a sentence to do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You should listen to the part of you that says put it aside when that happens also. Like you're gonna have two parts of you for a while and you have to balance between them. But it's hard but worth doing. That's all. But dude, our cocaine is fucking insane. And casual
I would intend to believe.
But dude, so now I see people that aren't big drug people, dude. That like they're not like party people, but like they'll be at a party. They'll fucking just start doing cocaine, dude. Like in like the last like
Never
maybe
seen
5
that.
years, dude. Like people like where you would be excited if they took a hit off a joint. Like even in college, it would be like they got really crazy. They took a couple of hits off a joint, you know.
I can't help but I don't know how to process this information except to doubt it.
Dude, it's like I'm
It's one
bringing
of those
it up.
facts that's just so hard to assimilate into my previous knowledge. I don't feel like I have another path except to say that I don't know.
I don't know either, man. I mean, I'm bringing it up to process through it because I think it's like a major sea change. Like
Probably ill-advised.
I fully agree. I agree.
Those people should respect its power more.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I see how it helps you after you've been drinking for a while, though. Like that was the first time like I started to pick up on it, and I kind of have a working hypothesis.
I mean, I'm sure it's got plenty of benefits.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like as we get older,
The downsides are greater.
like guys can't drink all night like they used to. So the cocaine is more helpful than like when you
Try
were 22.
salts.
That's insane, dude. That's wild, dude. You try getting a good night's sleep and not staying out drinking all
No,
night. That's what I want to say.
What do you think I'm talking about?
Smelling salts, dude.
Yeah,
That's insane, dude. That's barbaric.
like 15 minutes.
I mean, I don't even know what it does to you.
You're not going to be like wired forever. You can still get a good night of sleep.
Yeah, I get it.
It picks you up.
But does it like? Will you do one right now? I'm
Give
not
it a try.
doing it. I definitely am not doing that.
I mean, I don't feel tired.
Does it also like make you feel good?
No,
Because cocaine makes you feel good.
yeah, no, I understand that.
That's my understanding.
I'm aware there are differences between cocaine and ammonia.
So that's what the salts are?
Yeah, it's just ammonia.
I think the cocaine also like, as you get older, it gets more pronounced. I think alcohol, really, the euphoric effect is really only in the first hour. And then it becomes a depressant. And so I think that hits you harder as you get older. And so the cocaine, again, like becomes more of a needed accompaniment. But it's just like, dude, put the alcohol down. I think it's like, if you need help to drink as much as you used to, you should drink less.
Yeah.
But easy for me to say, dude, you know?
Very true.
I mean, I don't know. But all I'm saying is it's funny to see guys who you don't think of as drug guys who are like fucking, you know, financial analysts, you do think of them, but not like a cool one. Like, you know, one who's like, the spreadsheets are in order.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just being like, doing a line and being like, literally, this is a sentence I heard. Like, I was like, what's it like, dude? Because I like asking non-drug people to like, when they do drugs, to talk about it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I think my most like the first time, I mean, after I got out of Excel, you know, I believed them whenever they said I'd be dead if I tried it again.
Yeah.
So I was 28 whenever I used marijuana again.
I know we've talked about this
many times.
I'm sure the same surprised expression crosses my face.
The exact one.
28?
Yeah.
God damn, dude. So wait, so you smoked pot at 14.
Uh-huh.
Did you go to Excel at 14 or 15?
14.
14.
I had a month before I turned 15.
So you went 14 more years.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, I know we've talked about this, but 14 more years. Wow.
I mean, you know, I feel like it's that to me is almost sort of the central question that anyone should be interested in here. What occurred so that someone who enjoyed marijuana at 14 it never was dissuaded from it? Like, it's not like they made me think that I didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I always was like, that feeling was dope. Like, at no point had a different opinion.
Yeah,
but they were just like, they convinced me that I needed to not do it. That it was really important.
Yeah.
And how does one convince a person of something so strongly that, I mean, you know, it was 14 years without it, but at least 10 of those I wasn't around them.
I was about to say, to be fair, 4 of them were at Excel, but that is another way of saying 10 of them were not.
A full decade after the last time I talked to these people, I was still making decisions more or less based off of the things that they told me.
More than double your time at Excel.
Despite not liking them, you know, like by that point, if you'd asked me, like, did they get anything right? I've been like, fuck no.
But still,
and then eventually at some point I was like, well, if they're wrong about everything, then like maybe pot's okay.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm curious, like, so because I've heard this too, but I don't remember it. Like,
I mean, it's a good story. We should put on it if you're asking what I think you're asking.
Like, yeah, what drove you to first smoke pot? Like, or to second time smoke pot, I guess.
So I mean, you know, there was no like there was a single thing, but like with anything, it doesn't fully capture the processes that are occurring. Yeah. It's just over time, I'm having that thought. The one I just described of like, you know, these people don't know anything. You're not paying attention to any part of the advice that they gave you. You liked using marijuana. Yeah. I had some amount of, until I was where I wanted to be in my career, I didn't want like any drag.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I wanted to know that like this was like I gave it everything I got.
Such a difficult balance if overwork is a similar like drug though, you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like the radio is similarly demanding. Like it's a totalitarian culture in many ways. Yeah. Like I know you had the job where you only had to come in at 5, which does sound sick, but it does seem like there's not very many casual people who last long in the business. Like you got to fucking be about it.
Yeah. No, and I was, and I wondered if doing drugs much would have like detracted from that,
Yeah, I'm the
and so I
same
didn't
way.
want to find out.
I drank a lot, but I didn't smoke pot at all. Like, I'm trying to remember how many years I'd been into I smoked pot in law school, and then I knew a guy who actually, for all the hullabaloo about going to Rice, was at Rice, and maybe I shouldn't say it. It's whatever. Shout out, dude. I know you're listening. I mean, he'll hear it eventually. He'll enjoy it. But he had to like some back and forth with the bar. It's all good. Like, he got licensed, but it was enough. Basically, he got caught smoking pot at college, and when you go to law school, you basically have to tell them anything you've ever done, which made me so fucking nervous because they want to know, because they won't admit you if you're like, I fucking am a serial killer or whatever, you know, because you can't pass the character and fitness part of the bar. And they want to help you because most of the stuff is manageable if you manage to get it together enough to get into law school. It's a very open issue about like how they deal with mental health and substance abuse issues. And as someone who struggled with both, dude, I get it, like both sides, because it's like, that's why I stopped practicing after I got fired. It wasn't because clients didn't want me, and I never got fired for being mentally ill. That was I think we got derailed. That was the category I'm referring to. I was very clearly like going through a crisis that was manifesting in symptoms that were obvious enough for people to talk about them to me. But no one was ever like, you should stop doing legal work. I was the one to be like, it's time to take a break, like from doing legal work post getting fired. Because I had to like tell my clients, like, I can't do your work, which was rewarding for them to want me to still do it.
But yeah,
not cool. Like, but it wasn't the move because you are responsible for people's lives. So a lot of like mental health advocates are like, dude, lawyers won't disclose things. They're disproportionately like prone to commit suicide and like, you know, do too many drugs and drink too much, all of which I get. So like, that's one of the reasons I talk about this stuff openly. But at the same time, another reason is like, I don't want your legal work if you don't know how I am, because you're not making an informed decision, you know. And again, I'm not a licensed lawyer right now anyway, but like a rando, I would be like, yo, you need to listen to my podcast like before, you know what I mean? Like, just because it's like,
what an off-putting answer.
Yeah, dude. But it's like, there's a lot of, you know, but the clients that liked me actually did like that. Like, I have a different way of looking at things. I'm comfortable with unorthodox solutions. I'm not really precious about a lot of sensitive stuff that in the employment context, you know, is coming up. So I think I was good at it, but it's like, you need to know. Also, as I like think ahead, I have to have it set up so that people can't email me 24/7 and expect responses and stuff. Like, it's just, I'll go crazy again. So they need to know that too, where it's like, if you need a guy who the thing you need help with is like, you might need me at midnight regularly, like I'll give you a referral. It's not going to be me. I'm happy to go over the next morning at 10 a.m., like whatever y'all talked about. You know what I mean? But like, yeah. I can't live like that anymore. So, but that's what I used to do. So to the point about like avoiding cannabis at the beginning of the career, I remember like eventually when I started smoking weed more and basically like stopped drinking without trying to, and lost a bunch of weight, was happier. Everyone in my life was like commenting on it, asking me like what was different, not the way they did, like right before I got fired. But at the same time, I was much less productive. And I just like, it was no longer important to me to like work for 18 hours a day. But I struggled with it, I think, because our culture, and certainly the legal culture, is like a bad example of this. You know, my first employer was, I think, I almost do want to say their name because I have nothing but good things to say about them, as you know. But so I don't mean to like tar them with the brush. As a culture, the profession has a lot of problems. So I would be like beating myself up and being like, is this because I'm smoking pot? Is that why I'm like not as good as a lawyer? Even as like my advice was better, like I was better at looking at big picture stuff. I was happier. I got along with people better. But like the numbers weren't as high as they used to be. And that was enough. Even now, I'm like, am I selling myself short? But then it's like, I don't know, there's more to life. And when you talk about like, you have to hit your highest potential, It's like, who's to say? I refuse to believe my highest potential is an overworked asshole who yells at his loved ones, like, because he's stressed out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what the numbers look like.
Perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've started like 50 threads in this.
We were talking about why I returned to marijuana smoking after 14 years.
Fucking.
So, I had that whole thing of like, I don't want to do it. Like, that was at least something I would tell myself. Who knows why we actually do anything, right?
Yes. It's all speculation, dude.
Yeah. But
I agree.
The formal thing that I would verbalize to other people when asked about it was, I have a goal here. It's to host the show. I have not done that yet. So like, I will continue to keep my, nose to the grindstone.
Whoa.
And like,
okay.
we can talk then.
Whoa.
And then,
I admire that.
I did achieve the goal. Kind of.
Yeah.
I was hired to be a program director at a sports radio station in Pensacola, Florida, Market 144.
Yeah. Is this the first time we've talked about this?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah. You should tell. That's like part of TC lore, dude.
I mean, it's 2 months, but it was a great 2 months. It meant a lot to me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if it, in like a TV show about your life, I'm trying to think of like what's the analogy. It may just be like when Urkel went to Disney World. You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't seen that.
How many episodes it gets, but it's like it looms large to me. Like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I've had many more 2 month periods that were considerably more boring.
For sure, yeah.
Most of them.
And I don't mean to say you're an Urkel-like character, dude. I mean,
yeah,
maybe more. Eddie Winslow also went to Disney World.
But yeah, so I got hired to be the program director of a sports station in Pensacola. I hosted a daily talk show. I was there for 2 months. The first month, I was just kind of getting acclimated. At the end of that first month, we launched the show, and so for 1 month, I did a daily talk show.
It's like the Dana Carvey show of radio talk shows.
I have not all of them, because sometimes the recording equipment would be fucked up because it's a station in Pensacola.
Yeah.
But I have most of them. If anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Whenever I got fired, like I put them, like one of the tweets in like the I'm fired tweet thread. Yes, that's right. I was dramatic enough to make an I'm fired tweet thread.
Dude, if I had had more than 5 Twitter followers, I would have done it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them was like, was I so bad? Did I suck so bad that they had to get me out of there? Here you go. Judge for yourself.
Dude, I'm surprised you did that.
It's because I feel like if you listen, the answer is no.
I'm sure the answer is no. Yeah.
But, I made Jimbo Fisher laugh. I feel good about that.
Who's
He's
Jimbo
the
Fisher?
head coach of Florida State at the time, now at A&M.
Okay.
Won national title.
Okay. Respect.
We had 2 big interviews that loom large in my mind, at least. It was him, and then also a man that you may know, John Schnatter.
Whoa, Papa J?
Yes.
Oh, I know I've heard this one, but I never tire of hearing that, dude. Dude, again, you can tell I'm not faking this reaction. I'm just remembering, knowing this.
We
so sick, dude.
We did the show. So Pensacola is home to the AA team for the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
The Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
Just real quick interruption. Until you started right now, it never occurred to me to even question why he was in Pensacola. Like, I was just like, Papa John his life is regularly taking him to Pensacola, one way or another.
Yeah. He was just checking on the franchises.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I don't remember. We were closely aligned with the Blue Wahoos organization.
Okay.
Because they're the only professional team anywhere near Pensacola, Florida.
What's the nickname for it? Is it P? I was about to say P-Cola, dude. The only
that sounds good. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of people refer to it.
Okay.
I usually say Pensacola.
I mean, Floribama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Floribama Shore on MTV.
I've been to the bar.
Dude, if I could Dr. Drew out with the cast, have you seen the show, Floribama Shore?
No, I would like to, because I've been to the bar.
Dude. There's a bar called Floribama.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's on the line.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
In fact, I plan to go back this summer.
Okay.
We got a family trip to Gulf Shores planned.
Very cool, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I've told you this, but a kid we've mentioned.
I need to see post-COVID Floribama. I
Dude.
don't think that they were taking restrictions super seriously, but
Yeah,
now that
yeah.
they're off entirely,
I know, dude.
I need to know what it's like.
I was so excited because there is a currently airing season of Floribama.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh,
Is the show good? Should I watch it?
I actually don't recommend it to you. I do like it, but I don't know enough about how you like reality TV.
I mean, I like most. Like I make very little time in my life for it.
Yeah.
Every time I watch a
wouldn't
show,
make time for
I
it.
think it's great.
Like, I wouldn't make time for it, but
When I watch it, I love it.
I think it's the only reality show currently on my roster where like a new season comes out and I'm like, ooh, like, because a lot of it is like Real Housewives of Dallas. I don't really care, but that one I'm willing to have on. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is a new one. That is pretty
I can
good.
imagine that's complex.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking buck, dude. There's this one girl who is
That was
married.
a good choice.
Yeah, dude. Well, a lot of them are Mormon, but not all of them.
I would hope
But
not.
some of the ones that are not Mormon
I
are
would
the
just
weirdest.
like that mix, you know?
Yeah, dude. Well, the Mormon ones are kind of lame, honestly. They're like stuck as like 17-year-old girls who like still want to rebel by like drinking alcohol and kissing a boy. Like that's still like they get giggly about it, which is kind of cute to see, but at the same time, I'm trying to be entertained here. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
dude, that one of the women her grandmother founded like other people have called it a cult, but like it's like an offshoot. I don't think of Mormonism. Okay. But maybe Jehovah's Witnesses or something, Pentecostal.
Yeah, okay.
But so the grandmother was like the matriarch of this religion, and she died. And in her will, plus like just the way she arranged things, she basically hit up her granddaughter and was like, yo, I'm gonna need you to marry my husband, your step grandfather. It wasn't her real grandfather, but it was her, like a guy who filled a grandfather role for her, like her step grandfather. And she was like, yo, I talked to God. Like,
I have a lot of
the
questions.
church demands it, dude, to like secure the legacy.
Is he on the show?
Yeah. I mean, he shows up for sure. Yeah.
Oh
dude.
my God.
They're open about it, dude. They lead a mega church together. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's like a mega, but it's like they film, I think, the services. Yeah, dude. She's nuts though. But I mean, she's obviously a heavily traumatized woman, dude.
Yeah.
So she like breaks down a lot. Like she's like this very small black woman. And she like is like, her clothes are always like super beautiful. Like all of these women on these shows, I guess, are that way. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's a real contrast because occasionally you can tell they're hitting on her emotional issues because she's like very positive and like, I don't know, just her clothes are always like super on point. Like she's the best dressed, I think, of the housewives. I don't think all the other housewives would agree with that. I mean, of the Salt Lake ones, but I like her vibe a lot. It's like a very like happy. It's like a lot of bright colors. And so, but when they start hitting her on the issues, dude, I'm like, this is messed up. Like y'all should turn, like this is a damaged person. She's like so sad in her core. That's why I bring up the clothes. Cause it's like,
yeah, how would you not be?
It really puts it in relief.
How would you not be?
I know. Well, it's just, it's some shit Jamie would do.
Yeah.
To be like, from beyond the grave, I must control the lives of everyone in my orbit.
Yeah.
Like that's how important. Clearly, her grandmother did not put a ton of thought, or God, when he told her grandmother. I mean, his ways are beyond me. But I suspect grandma convinced herself of this. I doubt God actually wanted this. And so it is nuts for like some of the women on the show. They're like,
I don't know about you. I bet I do know about you. I do see it.
What?
Like, there's part of me that's like just so intensely terrified. Terrified's like not even a big enough word. There aren't big enough words of being insignificant that it's like whatever we got to do to prove significance. And like certainly like wrecking the life of my granddaughter by making her marry my dead, or, you know, like
Small
my
price to
ex-husband.
pay.
Yeah. Like,
well, certainly if you can.
I mean, like, it's not even the price to pay. It's like, that's the thing.
And you can also convince yourself that it's virtuous. Like, especially if you're
I don't care about that.
Well, but if you're leading a cult, I think that's like a ability that cult leadership selects for, is like the ability to not be cognitively dissonant. as much as other people.
Yeah.
So I really do believe she probably was like, dude, this is what God wants. As it happens, I also love it. But so like that has very little to do with Mormonism, but it's fucking freaky as shit. And then there's like some ex-Mormons and then some who are more like moderate or married into it. I don't know. The Dallas lady, did you hear about her, dude? There's been a lot of scandals with the Dallas housewives. One got kicked off for using a racially inflammatory term.
I have half heard about that.
And she was insane, dude. I mean, she was accusing another lady's husband of getting his dick sucked at a place called the Roundup, which I don't know even what it is. I'm assuming it's here and it's a bar.
I know about the Roundup.
Really? What is it, dude? Because the saying became a saying in my house. Because she was like super drunk and she was like, he's getting his dick sucked by the boys at the, they bleeped out dick suck. But it was like, she said it in very like Nana voice. So it's super fun to say around
This is the kind of thing I don't want to get wrong, so I'm looking it up. But I'm pretty sure it's one of the premier Cedar Springs.
Is that what they call the gayborhood?
Correct.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Next to a burger place called Hunky's.
Hunky, dude. I've been to Hunky's, dude.
Well, yeah, of course. It's the fucking best. I eat there
They
all
have
the
a
time.
Hunky's in Oak Cliff.
They do.
Yeah,
I eat that.
yeah.
That's the one I eat.
Hunky's is
Whenever
good as
I was
shit,
on
dude.
the Griggs campaign, Scott Griggs is a former mayoral candidate in Dallas. I worked on his the staff of his campaign, and it was the headquarters were in Oak Cliff. He was the rep for Oak Cliff. And so, yeah.
And all of his campaign staff were hunky ass guys like TC.
No. Definitely. I mean, going from the ticket to anywhere, it feels like a pretty extreme change in the male to female makeup.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that one, it felt, it was,
Politics? Is it mostly women in politics?
Yeah, I think.
Huh. Interesting.
Or at least it's one of those situations where if it's 50-50, then it feels like mostly
more than two.
Like it's an overwhelming. Yeah, like the ticket, we're very comfortable.
Yeah, it's like
being like,
whoa, you guys have plural of these?
yeah,
Holy shit. We have the girl.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty funny, dude.
But yeah, so you know how like I've tried dieting twice in my life. Exactly.
Really? Dude, I'm not flattering you. I was going to say, I think you lost some weight recently.
I don't think that's true.
Really? Maybe it's just your outfit, the spring weather. I don't know.
Thank you.
But okay. I'm not going to belabor the point, but.
Yeah, so, and like, I'm trying to make it an analogy here.
Okay.
Where, you got like a vacation coming up and you're like, man, if I can hit this many pounds lost by the time this vacation starts,
right,
then like I'm just going to eat normal on vacation.
Okay, sure, yeah.
And then like you get there and you're like 1.5 pounds short and you're like, I'm going on the vacation.
Obviously, dude.
Yeah.
Shoot for the moon, land among the stars.
So I had this thing in my head of like, I'm only going to smoke pot. Like I'm only going to consider the question after I've like reached this plateau.
Got it.
And so like by the time I smoked pot, I had been fired in Pensacola for many months.
Okay.
But I was like
a little delayed causation.
I mean, technically I made it. Like
it's true. It is true.
Yeah. I did a show.
Okay. So that was the reason you came up with yourself that time.
A little bit. And then the other thing that was going on, and like I can tell that my marijuana use put a lot of distress on my parents. The Excel program was pretty focused on making me feel guilt about that. And I did feel some.
I still struggle with it, dude.
Yeah.
I call it dare brain.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're like the same way like a fucking, I don't fucking know, a Jehovah's Witness, no matter what. If you left, or a Christian Scientist maybe is more directed. I don't want to get the details wrong about what the rules are in these religions. But Christian Scientists, my understanding, generally not fucking with tradition, like Western medicine.
That's my understanding.
So I feel like if you grew up where the people who you're biologically imprinted on to be like, they tell me how the world works, and they tell you that like God will kill you if you take an Advil, you might end up taking Advil like in your 20s or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you're always going to be like, is God mad at me?
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of feel like in the godless state.
At this point, I feel everything's pretty smooth.
Well, I don't think God's mad at me, dude. Obviously,
think God's mad at
cannabis is entheogenic to me, but the fucking... I've realized I'm throwing that word around. We've talked about it, but I don't
think so.
Really?
I don't know what ND. I mean, you've gone on about your uses of cannabis thing.
I know, but entheogenic is a new term.
Okay.
It's not in Gabor Mate's 5 ways.
Okay.
That's my contribution to the field.
Okay.
Is the 6th way.
You made up a word.
No, it's a real word, dude. I mean, there are books about using cannabis this way, but Gabor has not. I can never remember.
Read those yet.
Because I use it so many of the 5 ways. I can never remember all of the 5 ways. But I'm pretty sure there's room for a 6th way. It just it's like. It's not quite fair to say it's a fancier way of saying like it's a spiritual use, but like the word breaks down to like it tends to draw out the God within you. So it's like it makes you have a spiritual experience with yourself, I guess, is a way of saying it.
Planning thing. Can we do like another hour and just do one episode this week?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
That works okay?
I don't know how much inside baseball you want to do on the air. If that works for you, given everything...
Yeah.
With your jet setting lifestyle.
That's fine.
It's fine with me, dude.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You want to just...
Maybe 90 more minutes.
Well, dude, I do want to take a break, though. I need a water
Oh, you want to take a
refill.
break? Well, let's call this an episode and let's come back and do one that's not 2 hours.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right.